All right, let's check our work. It's 9 below. Let's see how it works. Wind chill looks like 37 below, and we've had about a week of this. Voila, it works.
Welcome to Bill Burkhart's Adventures in Iowa.
Hey, in this video, I'm going to replace an outdoor water hydrant. It freezes in the winter, blows water out the top. I went to the rental yard and rented this saw. A couple of young bucks over there loaded up for me, and I was able to use the forks like you saw there earlier to unload it. It sure is easy. One thing you'll notice here, I've got my wife spraying water on the cutting wheel because that tank on the rear end of the saw was broken. I didn't catch that at the rental store. So we had to put the water on it that way, and it worked just fine. My plan here is to saw it in a small slab so I can lift it out with the backhoe. So I'm going to saw it into a checkerboard pattern. Here I'm sawing on both sides of the water pipe, and I'll take those out by hand. All right, I'm going to chip up the blacktop edge here so I can get the backhoe teeth under that. All right, so I'll show you how I slide the forks underneath this slab near that vertical post. And you're going to hear my wife let out a... right there. She thought, I think she thinks that pipe's full of water, and it's going to... If I would bend it, it would squirt water in the air like the cartoon shows. But the water is shut off. There's no risk. And it goes down and ties into a poly line, so I'm not worried about bending that at all. So I got out the pickaxe there and had to break that into a couple of sections, and that was easy to break up, and then I hauled those off. Here's a little better demonstration now of how I thought it was going to work. I got an opening there. Now I can drop the forks down underneath that, and being careful not to go underneath the concrete slab there, I just went into the asphalt and pulled them up. So that worked out pretty good. All right, here's the last two pieces out of there, and let's get moving on. All right, I've got the stabilizers down, I've got the parking brakes set, and my rear tires are on the ground. Now, before you send me emails telling me this is wrong, I have the operator's manual for the 270V backhoe here from John Deere. And on page 35-4, it says, do not raise the tractor with the backhoe stabilizers. The stabilizers are not outriggers. And I'm going to put another video in here that you can see a set of outriggers. So they're not outriggers, they're stabilizers, and John Deere says they will not hold the tractor, or they're not, this is my words, they're not designed to hold the tractor off the ground. So keep that in mind when you operate yours. Now, as I'm digging along here, there's two things I want to be aware of. I don't want to undermine the blacktop, and I don't want to undermine the garage slab. So I'm going to keep some distance between those two, and I'll show you how I do that here in a minute.
Where this part goes.
My wife's pointing out to me that she thinks the water line is, I'm starting to get close to the water line. I hope not, because I'm not very deep. So I got the shovel out, and I quickly put an end to this. This is ridiculous. Once you own a backhoe, trying to run this shovel and all the rock and clay I have on my ground, forget it. I've censored out the language here and me throwing the shovel over the hillside. So let's get back on the tractor and get something done. So to protect that slab and asphalt from being undermined, here's what I do. I lower the teeth into the ground, and then I slowly retract the dipper stick just a little bit while curling the bucket. And then I'll jiggle that bucket to get the loose soil into the bucket. I have good luck planting trees this way. It's a deeper hole than it is a longer hole. Now watch, I'll just turn it, and then a couple shakes, and so it allows me to dig deep and not have a big trench open. You might want to try that, but it sure works good for me. All right, we're getting pretty close here now.
Right there. Right there.
Oh, I see it. I see the drain tile.
Eureka! We found it. Let's take a closer look at it here. I was expecting this to be in mud and clay and not encased very nice, but I kind of learned differently. They put it in drain tile. But I want to explore why this thing's draining so slowly. And I think that's causing it to freeze because the pipe just doesn't get rid of that water quick enough when we use it in the winter. So there it is, and the drain tile, I cut that drain tile off so you could see it. So they did put it in drain tile all the way up and to about a foot up the pipe, but there's no thermal breaks.
42 inches.
Yeah, 42. So that's kind of marginal for this area. So I turned the water back on, and we're going to fill that pipe up. We're going to run it out the hose, and we're going to shut it off. And let's see how fast it drains.
Turn it off.
You hear that?
Yeah, look at that. That's about draining, and that's dribbling so slow. I know now that's why that pipe's freezing, I'll bet. I use this pipe when it's 20 and 30 below, and it makes sense that if the water can't get out of there quick enough, after being used several times a day, it probably just freezes up. All right, here we are at the farm store. This is how the replacements look. Look on the cover for the buried depth and then the height after being buried. This one reads the overall length is 33 inches plus the buried depth. And the buried depth is stenciled on the pipe. So I grabbed a new connection piece and some stainless steel clamps, and we're all ready to go home and fix this thing. Here it is installed. I didn't get the video of actually doing it, but I'm going to explain to you how I got to this point. So here's what I'm demonstrating here. The bottom was full of holes, and I drilled holes all in the side. Now where the water line was going to come in the side of the bucket, I drilled a great big wide hole right there. That way that plastic, that line's going to come into the bucket right there, and that's going to reconnect to my new hydrant. That's what I'm showing here with the pliers. That hydrant goes in that bucket, makes a connection right there, re-clamp it with a stainless steel clamp, and then I filled that with 1-inch clean. But before I did that, I put a 2-inch piece of foam on the bottom, sat the bucket on top of that, so that's one thermal break, so frost doesn't come up from below it and work its way up to freeze it. Then I filled the gap between the pipe and the foam with expandable foam. Keep it in mind, I didn't want to put that hose too deep and seal the drain. So I stuck it about halfway down there and then just brought it up and filled that up. That's going to be a real good barrier for frost. So now I've got protection from the frost coming around it and underneath it. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is I got a couple of magnetic levels here. My wife's going to hold that while I put in old fill on top of a 2-inch piece of foam. Did you notice I put that 2-inch foam on top of my 1-inch clean gravel? 52 inches of frost protection. So I really don't think this is going to freeze. And I'm going to show you at the end it doesn't. I'll prove it to you. I used the existing clay and rock mixture because it really firmed that pipe up. If I had put 1-inch clean around it all the way up, it would have been pretty wiggly, but it really got firm. Now to finish off my insulation barriers, I put a 10-inch piece of drain tile around the pipe that's coming up out of the ground, and I filled that with the remaining foam that I have. Now I realize that it's going to expand and go over top like it is here, but that's fine. I'll saw that off with a Sawzall. All right, now I'm going to fill up the last 10 or 12 inches with 1-inch clean. I need a couple loads of 1-inch clean in another area of my lot, so I'm going to use the remote control of the trailer and see how this is going to work. I'm going to pull up to it, put my bucket under there. Now I'm going to tip the trailer up using that remote control key I have, and I'll dump it into the loader and then run up the hill, dump it off, and then repeat a few times. The reason I'm not dumping it up on top near the project is I want to put my extra gravel down here. I'm just trying not to touch the gravel twice. Whatever's left over I'm dumping right here, and I'm going to spread out. So far, looks like a pretty good idea, right? All right, so we're going to dump it in here, and I'm going to dump it in high because over the summer it's going to settle. And then when we come in to asphalt it, we can take some out. Although I will tell you, I've been using it now for a few months, and I like the fact the gravel's there because if my bucket overflows, it just drains away and I don't have a wet spot near my hydrant. I might not asphalt that. What do you think? So here it is as we're wrapping it up. Now, I don't know if the UVs will hurt that foam or not. So I cut it off with a Sawzall, cut this 10-inch cap in half, and put it on top and secured it with a couple of ties. Well, before we check out the project results in the middle of winter, I missed a bunch of shout-outs this month. I'll try to get to those next month. Thanks, as always, for checking in where you're watching from. I sure appreciate it. All right, let's check our work. It's 9 below. Let's see how it works. Wind chill looks like 37 below, and we've had about a week of this. Voila, it works. So I'm really comfortable. Hey, the project cost me about $200. I'm comfortable saying the tractor saved me $700 doing it myself. Have a great month, everybody. Be kind to each other. Consider subscribing, and I'll talk with you soon. So long.